you know how, like, you expect to get to that age and you start taking care of your parents? Well, I just turned 19 yesterday, but I've kind of been taking care of my dad for, like, the last 2 years.
So you're taking care of him all by yourself?
It's really sad. My dad's kind of a shitty person.
Interesting. Why do you say that he's a shitty person?
Hey, I'll be right back, okay?
Hello?
Hi, is this Lyle?
Yeah. What's going on?
I've been in the hospital the last few days, hanging out with my dad, because he almost died, but he's okay now. But that's the only, like, kind of thing that's got me down right now. My life otherwise is pretty great.
Well, how did he almost die?
So, my dad's kind of got a potato for a heart, and a few years back, he had a heart attack, and after that his heart stopped, and he had pneumonia too, and he also smokes like 4 packs a day and eats like a stick of butter every other day. Anyways, he was in the hospital for a while. They had to give him a defibrillator, put even more stents in his heart. He's got like 6 stents in his heart. Along down the line, he keeps smoking. The last few months, he's been struggling getting around, and went into the doctors because his defibrillator kept kicking off. He couldn't even sleep anymore because it was like almost by the hour, and his heart was at like 15%. 2/3 of his heart was dead, like his arteries were blocked. So he went in to do an emergency bypass surgery, but that had to be delayed because there was so much fluid in his lungs. But they basically rebuilt his heart using arteries from his arms and legs, because literally he's got like kind of a new heart.
How do they rebuild a heart?
See, the plan...
I guess neither of us know the nuts and bolts answer to that question, but...
No, not like a robot heart, but... So years ago, you know, when they were like doing chest compressions to restart his heart, they had broken his ribs, and all of the arteries healed back into the ribs, so they couldn't use any parts of his heart, alive or dead. So they opened up his arm and his legs and took some arteries from there and stitched them into his heart.
Okay, so it's like when you get plastic surgery and they take a little bit of your shoulder and they put it into your boobs.
Yes, it is exactly like that.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It was. I can't lie, I was hecka nervous.
How's he doing now? He's got a new heart.
Excuse me. He's kind of, you know, struggling, rough. Can't really breathe. Can't really walk. He's upset all the food here sucks, and I tried it. The apple juice here tastes like piss.
There's nothing good there at all?
No. Like, I've been trying the things that they've been giving him, like, everything here sucked. I feel like it's prison food.
Well, I feel like, what kinds of stuff does your dad eat now that he has a new heart? I'm sure his diet is probably very restricted.
Well, he's not supposed to really have any more butter. He's got to cut down the sodium. He really needs to stop eating so much toast, bread, for real.
Really? What's wrong with bread?
Oh, that dude could eat like half a loaf of bread in a day. That man loves sandwiches.
Yeah. Yeah, it really.
Yeah.
I don't know who really it was that designed the human body. I don't know anything about that, but it was designed poorly because all the things that are delicious, they make us die, and the things that are healthy, you know, they're like whatever, like lettuce and stuff. I mean, lettuce is fine, but that doesn't make sense to me. Why would they program us so that things that are delicious are bad? I feel like that's counterintuitive.
I don't know, to teach us discipline or something. I thought life was supposed to be all about lessons. But again, I didn't meet the man who made all the rules, so I don't know.
Your life is better outside of this, right? That's what you said. You said that life is going good other than this.
Yes, I was listening to your podcast Tuesday, and you talked about how the majority of people's problems stem from relationships with other people or things that are out of their control. And I've been thinking about that. And even though that is like the pretty much number one worldwide problem, it doesn't make it any less painful. And I've been trying to figure out how to cope with that. Like, this experience has been different from the last one because I'm kind of seeing my dad almost like a kid. You know how, like, you expect to get to that age and you start taking care of your parents, you know? Well, I just turned 19 yesterday, but I've kind of been taking care of my dad for, like, the last 2 years. But even the last time he was in the hospital, I wasn't here, like, 8 hours a day, you know? Like, I'd come by and I'd visit, stay overnight every once in a while, but, like, it feels different, I guess, taking care of him. Like, feeding him and, like, cleaning up his piss.
What's up with your mom and the rest of your family? Where's everybody else?
So my dad's entire family sucks. And also my dad self-isolates, so my mom is in a really bad relationship with a cheating husband that she just refuses to leave, and he doesn't like me, so they kicked me out and let my niece move in. So I don't know, like, my mom loves me, but she's like really got that she's a really Christian lady, and I don't know, she's got that, what's that called? I don't know the word, but, like, basically it's ingrained into her that, like, the husband is the head of the household. It's God and then the Lord, or whatever. They're both the same. Sorry, the Lord, your husband, and then you. And so she kind of just takes his side with everything, even when it's unreasonable.
So you're taking care of him all by yourself? He doesn't have a significant other that's with him? Or you don't have any siblings that are with you?
All of my siblings are 4+ years older than me, and also it's really sad. My dad's kind of a shitty person, so I'm the only kid he's ever raised. Every other woman he had a kid with did not want him around the kid, and hence took the kid.
Interesting. Why do you say that he's a shitty person?
Narcissist, abusive, bipolar, anger issues, which, you know, being mentally ill doesn't make you a bad person, but, you know, you can't excuse awful and rude behavior towards people just because you're mentally ill. You know?
So has he been you know, okay, so you're the youngest, correct?
Yes.
And were you kind of the one where he was like, okay, I was shitty to all the other sort of opportunities, all the other daughters that I've had, and now they're older and they don't like me, but okay, here's one last chance, and I'm going to really, you know, give it a shot? Or was he shitty to you as well?
I don't think it was on purpose. You know, I was in an accident. So he's like in his 60s, and he comes from that generation where they were told to shove down all their trauma so they didn't heal. So they're all like emotionally stunted. I haven't really figured it out. My dad kind of avoids the question when I ask like why he chose me, because he's like 15 years older than my mom. My mom was an immigrant. It was her first year when she ended up having me, so she was still illegal at the time. And it was such a weird dynamic. He made me hate my mom growing up, and he lied to me for so long. And like his justification was that he got my mom deported to keep me here in America because being raised in America is, you know, so much better.
He got your mom deported.
But then yeah.
He got your mom deported. How does him getting your mom deported keep you here?
Well, no. There wasn't relevance in that. It was just adding to the story of, like, my dad told me all these lies. So long story short, he just ended up doing a really bad job because he's not the smartest man I've ever met, especially financially. So he's kind of always been poor. We grew up super poor. So he was just working all the time. He would let out work anger on me because, super duper bad anger issues.
And
I think he tried, but he did a really shitty job.
Has your relationship with him improved at all, or has it kind of stayed at the same shitty baseline for, most of your life?
It changed for a few months, but it wasn't really real. He finally ended up meeting this girl, and it was a horrible situation. That's a whole other story. She moves in like 2 months after they met, and he just completely changes, and he's talking to me nice. He's not cursing at me anymore. He does all these things for this woman. He would cook for her, and he would clean. Like, my dad did not take care of me as a kid. My dad's best friend, who I call my uncle, is the person who basically raised me because he wasn't really a dad. So he was nice for a few months, and then she ended up ghosting him. She, stopped taking her meds, just packed up all her things one day, left, blocked him on everything, didn't even say anything, and he, completely broke. And that was really hard to watch. And he kind of, reverted back, but into, an even worse version, because he wasn't really just, angry anymore. He was, depressed, super depressed.
Where is
so then our relationship kind of...
Your dad's uncle right now? Is he, not your dad's uncle, your uncle, your dad's friend right now, is he not in the picture?
So, my dad, being not the nicest guy, has this tendency to push everybody away and treat everybody really horribly. And right around the age of 13, he already kind of treated him like shit. He was just super rude to him, ordered him around like a dog, And one day, one of my uncle's family members died. He didn't find out till 2 days before the funeral. The funeral's in Illinois, which is an 8-hour drive. And he really wanted to go, and my dad was like, "No, you can't go. You have to stay here. We can't plan that." He was so mad that he just left anyway. He went to the funeral, and he comes back, and my dad was literally pretending like he didn't exist. I remember for a week straight, he wouldn't acknowledge him, he wouldn't respond to him, he wouldn't talk to him. And one morning, it was just like normal, and I was getting ready for school, and I just said bye, and he said bye, see you after school. When I came home, and all of his things were packed and he's gone. And I didn't hear from him for 5 years. So now he's still in Illinois. He just got married, but we don't really talk like that anymore.
So what has been keeping you taking care of your father if you have had all these bad experiences with him?
I think my only reasoning now, and I don't know why I feel this way, I feel invalid for agreeing with everyone else, because I've talked to real therapists, and I've talked to my friends, and I've talked to my mom, and everyone's just like, you just need to leave and cut this man out of your life. He only drives you down, but it's I feel bad because all he has, and he's all alone, and I would not want to die alone. And so I just want to be there for him every day,
Tell me more about what
though
your real therapists have told you about this.
So she says I have abandonment issues, understandably, and I have a problem letting things go. And even when people hurt me, I justify it because I just see everybody as myself, just a little human doing the best they can with the level of consciousness they have. And she thinks that I I need to keep him blocked out of my life. Like, there are times where he's kicked me out so many times, and he'll block me for a few months and then unblock me, you know, and he's like, why haven't you talked to me? And she always thinks I just need to keep him gone because, you know, he does kind of bring me down sometimes. But I love him. I could never hate him. I don't know. I just don't agree with her on that standpoint.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
she thinks or she tells me I should put myself first. And I agree with that. I always try to. But this one thing really got me, man.
What one thing?
My dad. The whole situation.
Let me ask you this. Is there, what do you think you are giving up or sacrificing of yourself in your life, if anything, to take care of your dad?
My mental health and my physical health.
Okay.
And time to be invested doing schoolwork and also going to my actual jobs.
Okay, so it's a lot.
Took off, like, I haven't been to work the last 2 days. It's going to be a few more days, and like, I've been financially independent since I was, you know, a young teen. So money is important because we live in a horrible time where everything is super expensive. Yeah,
we do. This is interesting, Jess. You are sacrificing a lot of yourself to take care of this guy who hasn't been great to you, but is your father. You have lots of people, your therapist, people, with legitimate care and concern for you, who are telling you that you shouldn't be making those sacrifices. And you don't agree with them. It seems like there's a lot of dissonance between, okay, should I do this? Should I be doing this? Am I doing the right thing? And fuck, I'm sitting here with you right now, wondering the same exact thing.
I think, or not really think, I have this feeling that I would feel guilty if I chose to leave and took care of myself, because he would just be dealing with strangers, you know?
Well, again, I'm wrestling all of this in my head. I think that whatever you decide to do, I don't think you should feel guilty about either way. I don't think that there is a clear...
Well, I haven't quite figured out...
wrong
I haven't figured out how to not feel guilty about it. And see, that's how I feel, because I'm like, well, it should be valid either way, because I am my own human. It's not like, I asked to be born, and it's not like he made me just to be his caretaker, like I am my own individual.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man, something about human relationships and connections and the human brain being wired to care about other people.
Yeah, I don't know.
Makes decisions
I don't
hard.
know. It is, it does make decisions hard, because I'm sitting here, at least my thought process with this is like, what is important in life? Is it important to you that you sacrifice of yourself for other people, even if they don't deserve it, just because that's what you want to do? That's what you, as a human being, in a weird way, because yes, you are you are your own human being, and you get to make your decisions and justify them however you want. And with that, you can make your executive decision that, you know what, it's important to me to sacrifice of myself for this guy, even if he might not deserve it, because that's just my life philosophy. That's how I feel I should live. And you know what? That would be okay. And it would also be just as okay for you to go, you know what, this guy doesn't deserve it, and it's important for me to figure out my own stuff because I'm young and I got to take care of myself here, and I need to do these things that are important to me, and that's my life philosophy, and that would be okay too. And both of them are decisions that you would be making as your own independent person. And as a person who gets to decide what is important to them in their life. And those are really hard decisions to make, especially very young. You know, I'm still making those decisions. Everyone listening to this is still making their decisions on what is important to them in life. It's hard to navigate. It really, really is. But I don't think either way, you know, the guilt seems like it's the big thing here. And I'm telling you, whichever thing you decide to do, you know, if you decide to take care of him and you feel guilty about neglecting other aspects of your life, if you decide not to take care of him and you feel guilty about leaving him, the guilt to me has no place, because you're sitting here really, truly doing the best you can here. And this is a hard thing, and you're a thinking, feeling person doing the best you can with this situation. And so why feel guilty when you did the best you could? You know, everything that was in your control, you really gave patient, deep thought to it. You didn't just throw it by the wayside. You thought about this decision really long and really hard, and you made whatever the best one was with the information and the feelings you had at the time. And I think that's a lot. And I don't think it's something to be, you know, feeling guilty or you know, regretful about whatever you decide, because you really are doing your best here. I don't know if any of that made sense.
It was really... No, it made sense. It did make me think a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. I am just doing the best I can with what I'm feeling. And I really want to put myself first. I think that's what I'm feeling. I think that's why I've been feeling so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like I have to do this for some, like, moral value or standard that I hold.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't
as you
think
said,
that...
No, go ahead. I want to hear the rest of your thoughts.
Sorry. Oh. I think it is okay if I am not emotionally capable of handling some things in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they seem really detrimental. I think it is okay to know how much I can handle and be able to walk away from that. And I don't know why I've been avoiding that.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think that's okay too, because you're, as you said, you get to make your own decisions about all these things. You know, there's no, I mean, fuck, this moral standard that you're talking about, it's not defined by anyone except for you, and it can be malleable, and you don't want it to, you know, hold you hostage to things that don't serve you.
I don't know why I stopped living my life like that. I used to live my life like that all the time, to keeping the things in my life that served me, and when they no longer served me, I would let go.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate your validation.
Yeah, I
It was really
appreciate
scary.
you being so vulnerable on the phone here with us. And
I feel burden is not the word. Maybe not like annoying. Well, maybe a little annoying. I feel really alone because I feel bad like talking to people about it, because it's just like, like, what can they say? It's just like, oh, like, I'm sorry, like, that's awful. When I tell people, they're like, oh, what's wrong? Like, you've been down lately, you've been so busy. And it's like, oh, my dad's in the hospital. I've been dealing with a lot of stuff. When he kicked me out, I was homeless for like the last month and a half, and I don't. What's that word? I guess I just felt embarrassed that was my life, even though I couldn't control it, And so I've been struggling talking to people about it.
Mm-hmm. You talk to a therapist about it, don't you?
I have not. So we actually had our last session like 6 months ago. The last time I talked to her was about 2 weeks ago for my FAFSA, because I needed like documentation of homelessness, and she's been around. My dad has kicked me out so many times, so like I didn't really talk to her, really explain it, like everything that was going on. I just let her know my situation so she could help me fill out some legal forms.
Mm-hmm. Jess, I again, I think you should do, whatever you decide you're going to do. But if you do decide that you are going to stop sacrificing the things that you've been sacrificing and go and live your life, I want you to really lean into that. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like you're holding on to, like, you're like embarrassed to talk about it. It says you seem like you're embarrassed that you were ever sacrificing any of those things. And it's not going to be as easy as just doing it. Obviously you're working through a lot of emotional turmoil through this, but I hope you let that shit go. Because you're young and you got a whole lot of life ahead of you, and I know
I have all these great things I want to focus on.
Yeah, and I think that's really wonderful. And I hope that you let all that shit go, and that you dive into the wonders of the life you have ahead of you. That's kind of my.
Maybe that's what I'm going to try and start doing, and not feel guilty about it.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I think you're going to do it too.
Thank
Jess,
you, Lyle.
of
I've been
course.
listening to you for like a year and a half. Well, I meant to ask when I started the call, how are you today? How are you doing?
How am I doing? I'm a gecko on the computer. I'm hanging out. I'm riding the wave of life. But listen, Jess, before we go, is there anything else that we didn't get to, or anything else that you want to say to the people of the computer before we go? And I want to thank you again for sharing all of this.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I wanted to shout myself out because yesterday was my birthday, and it was the first actual fun birthday I've ever had. Usually my birthday sucks, so my friends were there for me. And what I've been trying to learn since turning 19 the last few hours is to live in the present. You talk about this sometimes. You're not just not being on the phone or Instagram scrolling. But I mean, actually absorbing all the information and appreciating all these things, I think I take a lot of things for granted. And I'm really grateful that you answered my call. I feel really lucky.
Well, thank you for sharing, Jess, and sincerely good luck to you.
Thank you, Lyle. You have a good day.
You too. Hello.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
What's your name?
My name is Jessie.
Jessie. What's going on with you today, Jessie?
Mm-hmm. So I guess to start, so my girlfriend and I have known each other for like 6 years, like since the start of high school until now. And during those 6 years, we were like just friends, the best of friends. I got a huge crush on her, like pretty immediately, but I thought she didn't feel the same, so I had to get over my broken heart. About 3 years ago, we started just doing things like going out to movies together. We started getting dinner together, basically dating, not dating. And then a month ago, she asked me out, so now we are. But my problem is, we both like talked about it, and we both want to, because neither of us have had our first kiss before. But every time I try, like I'll hype myself up. I'll be like, I'll plan this whole thing out. I'll just let it do its thing, and then when the moment's right, I just go for it. But every time the moment hits, I get super cold feet, and I completely abort the mission. And I don't know how to not do that. Because I really like her, and I think she really likes me, and she said that she wants me to be her first kiss too. So I don't know why we both keep getting cold feet.
Interesting. I don't know why you guys keep getting cold feet either. So you both are, you and this girl are dating?
Yes.
Okay.
We're both like very comfortable with each other.
Okay. And yet neither of you have kissed each other before, or have kissed anyone before.
Yes. I think the closest she's come is like she used to have a boyfriend, and I think like he kissed her on the cheek and she hated it. So I guess that's her experience.
Okay, because that's what I was thinking here is I mean, look, nowhere in the laws of how human beings must live their life does it state that you have to kiss anyone. You know what I'm saying? If you guys are just simply, you could be ace. You ever thought about that?
I don't know, because I know this is weird, because we're both...
No, lay it on me.
We're both we're both 21. Neither of us feel like this should be like a hard step for us to take, because we're really comfortable with each other. And like I said, every time I keep trying, like I work myself up and I'm like, I'm an adult. This is the night. I'm going to do it finally. And then at the last second, I feel like a teenage boy, and I get so scared and I completely back out.
What are you scared of necessarily? If you could try real hard to think about it and put it into words.
I guess I'm scared that, like, when she said that, like, she had a guy kiss her on the cheek and she super hated it, she like really stressed that point.
Okay.
And I guess I really don't. It feels like we should know what we're doing. So it feels like when that moment happens, like, I should just know what I'm doing. I should go for it and stop being such a baby about it. And I guess it sounds so like childish, but like I want to give her a good first kiss.
Okay. So her boyfriend kissed her on the cheek and she hated it.
Mm-hmm.
Does she just not, and that freaks you out because you don't want to kiss her and have her hate it?
I guess so, yeah.
Do you...
And
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
And I've asked friends about this, and they to the point where I think they're getting frustrated because I keep mentioning this, and they keep saying just do it, and I don't know why I can't just get over it and just do it. And I'm pretty sure she feels the same.
Okay, let's really break down when you say get over it. Let's really break down what it is that we're getting over here. Like,
okay,
the fear. Break it down for me in whatever words you feel like you can use. Because I asked you that earlier, and you said,
yeah,
you just kind of mentioned that you mentioned stuff about her boyfriend kissed her and she hated it, but I feel like I didn't really be honest with yourself here, because I feel like I didn't really get a good answer to that question about what's going on in your head specifically. So do your best to be honest with that answer.
I think it scares me because I really don't want to try it, kiss it. I know that nobody's first kiss is perfect, and I know that even though we're both pretty old compared to everybody else's first kiss, I guess it feels like there's an expectation that yeah, it's not going to be perfect, but it feels like we really should know what we're doing. And it feels like the moment I get to the moment of wanting to kiss her, and then I completely freak out and back out, I guess that's just I'm avoiding not wanting to mess it up. I guess I'm avoiding wanting to give her a really bad kiss and having a terrible time.
Okay, great. Okay, great. So it's from a fear of failure, in a sense.
I guess it is, yeah.
Okay. And it's from a fear of failure due to a crushing weight of expectations of how things should be at a certain age and in a certain situation.
Yeah. Now that sounds really right.
Okay, cool. All right, great. All right, so cool. Now we know what we're dealing with.
Yeah. Wow, yeah.
Have you talked to her about that?
Sort of. We keep saying it in a joking manner where, oh my gosh, why are we both so scared of this? Haha. But she keeps saying that she would like to kiss me and I kiss her, as cheesy as it sounds.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, these expectations of how things should be, forget about the kissing thing for a while. Just the general, I just think, Jesse, your life in general is going to be better if you abandon the expectations of how things should be in a certain situation. Just in general. Forget about the specific situation that you're in, but in general, living by the expectations of how things should be at a certain age in a certain situation is just something that would be of great benefit to get over. Nobody gets over it completely, but you work on it a little bit day by day, and the expectations become a little bit less heavy. And so, if anything, look at this as a situation, as an opportunity to say, you know what, I really genuinely don't care what other people think I should have done or should be doing by the age of 21 in my particular romantic situation. I really don't fucking care because I live my own life.
Yeah.
And then you and same to this girl that you're with. She should feel empowered in a similar way. And I hope that both of you summon that empowerment and then do the thing that you are desiring to do but afraid to do.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Good. Yeah, I like
Wow,
this
was
as an
more
opportunity.
helpful than I thought it was going to be.
That's why I wear the Gecko costume, unassuming. Jesse, is there anything else you want to say to the people at the computer before we go?
I hope you all have good days. I guess thank you again. This was very helpful.
Good. I'm stoked to hear that. And good luck to you in your endeavors in the future, romantic or otherwise.
Yeah, thank you. Bye, everyone.
That was interesting. I think that was an interesting microcosm of a situation where expectations societally about, again, what you should be doing in a certain situation at a certain age just are like paralyzing. And that's a whole, I mean, even in that situation, it's a whole thing to get over. But that's just a general thing that a lot of people in a lot of situations have. It's important to get over. It's something I have myself. A lot of people have it. And so this just felt like a little in her life, hopefully getting over this kissing thing helps her get over that, dealing with other people's expectations in a variety of situations that both her and this other girl might experience in her life. And so I hope it's fruitful in that way. I am a Gecko. What is your name?
Hey, Ryan.
What's going on with you, Ryan?
Not much. Just hanging out. I saw the morning stream notification pop up. So I was like, "Oh shit!"
Mm-hmm.
And usually when I call, it just goes straight to line is busy. So I was like, "Well, fuck it." And then I called this time and it went straight through. I was like, "Oh shit!"
Ryan, it says
This
here
is
that
a
you
for real on God situation.
It says here that you have a theory that you would like to talk about called Frogner's glory hole.
Yeah. Okay, so I told this to the guys at work, and it didn't really go the way I wanted it to be perceived. So I got a question for you. So,
okay,
let's say you're... Actually, I'm not even going to put up a place. It's too complicated. So you're getting a blowjob, the best one you've ever had, or you get the offer for one, right? So the deal is you get blindfolded and you don't ever get to know what it is. Do you try to look, or do you just decline the offer?
Okay, so you are blindfolded, getting the best blowjob of your life.
The worst.
Should you look or not look? That's what you're asking?
Well, I mean, okay, so there's rules, of course, but my first question is, would you attempt to look, or would you just... The rules are that if you look, it just disappears. But I would like to know if your natural curiosity would get the best of you, or would you just take the nut for what it is?
I feel like it would be beneficial. See, it's hard because, on one hand, it's like the blindfoldedness, the mystery of it could be a large contributing factor to the sexual experience as a whole, right? So regardless of what you see when you take the blindfold off, you are now removing a strong variable that could have been an important variable in the pleasure of the blowjob. Does that make sense?
Right.
So to look would be to crumble the entire experience that is making to look would be to remove what could possibly be an important variable into how much pleasure you are receiving. That's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is you are receiving a lot of pleasure. It is the best blowjob of your life. perhaps when you take off the blindfold and you see what is going on down there, it actually gives you greater insight that you can use. You know, maybe the blindfoldedness, maybe the lack of sensory, of being able to see was not the important variable. And you look down and you go, oh, that is actually what is making this feel so powerful. And then you can use that moving forward as knowledge for what makes you, sexually peak. And it's hard to tell. It's really a gamble either way. Does that anything that I said just make sense?
Yeah. But what was it? Okay. So now let's get on to what is it called? Brass tacks, the rules. Okay. So number one rule is you'll never know what it is. It could be a fucking robot. It could be some guy down the street. It could be your neighbor. It's anybody. It's an open table, but you never know. And see, whenever I brought that up, everybody at work was like, "That's gay. What if it's a guy?" And I said, "You can't." I was like, "That's not the point of the fucking question. It's either yes or no question." You know?
No,
like,
but hold on. Okay,
but
hold on. What if? But here's the thing. What if it is a guy, and it is gay? But then you're like, "Oh, I like getting blowjobs from guys," and then you know that about yourself now, and then you go on and you live a happier life with that knowledge.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, like, you cannot deny what you don't know.
I don't understand this game anymore.
Just for the okay. Now it's just a hypothetical question that I randomly made up.
How many different groups of people have you floated this by, Ryan?
About 2.
Okay.
2 or 3.
By the way, you said this theory is called Frogner's glory hole. Who is Frogner?
Frogner. You don't know who Frogner is?
Oh, Schrodinger.
Frogner is like the Schrodinger. That's his name. Fuck.
Ryan, are you high right now?
I'm normally like this, my guy.
I'm not sure what you just said.
Oh, nothing like a year ago. Ew.
Ryan, I'm going to let you get back to whatever it is you were doing before you called.
Have a good day.
You too.
What's your name?
I'm Josh.
Josh, it says here that you recently waterboarded your friend at the beach the other day because on my podcast I said that waterboarding is not that bad.
That is true. That's correct.
Okay, all right. So I do remember saying that. Why? And I remember saying that because it's just water.
So
tell me what happened.
So I'm the guy who waterboarded.
Oh, you're the guy who got waterboarded.
So I'm his friend Kyle.
Okay, hey,
I'm
how's
the
it
one
going,
who
Kyle?
was waterboarded. Yes.
Okay, all right. So tell us, was it that
I'm doing
bad?
great,
Because
Lyle.
I do remember saying that on the podcast.
It was. It was worse. Like, the reason I let him do it was because I also thought that it wasn't that bad,
Right, it's just
and
fucking
it
water.
was every bit as bad as I thought it would be.
Even though you're saying that, I still don't believe it's that bad.
I will tell you, I don't understand the science behind it, but the way that it happens is it like shoots the water right up your nose. Because you're supposed to lay back, and it shoots the water up your nose to the back of your throat. It's miserable.
Lyle, I can tell you, I did this to him, and I do not think I could handle having someone do it to myself. He lasted a half a second before I thought he was going to throw up.
I just turned away. It was rough.
I've always assumed it'd be like putting a rag on your face in the shower, and it's not that.
It's not that at all.
I thought that, okay, so like, yeah, if you take a shower and let's say you have a washcloth and you put it over your face and then you look up at the shower head while it's running, is that not the same thing as being waterboarded?
It's not, because the water has to run backwards, like up your face a little bit. Because when they do it, they lay you down flat, and I guess the way that like your nose is, it kind of like, you know, goes up backwards into your face. And so the water runs right up your nose, up your nostrils. Seriously, it's way worse than it looks like it was, because I didn't think it looked that bad either. That's why I let him do it.
Well, I got to say, I feel really powerful having influenced you guys to do that.
Well, so we actually had done it before you said that, and I heard it the other day, and I was just telling him before you went live, I was like, he said that it wasn't that bad, and I knew that wasn't true.
We were re-listening to your podcast, and then you came live, and we immediately started trying to
we were like, we have to correct him. We have to let him know how awful it truly is.
Okay, so you guys did this before I said it.
We did this like 4 years ago. It was in a hotel bathroom.
Okay. And how did it go then?
We were at the beach. I didn't last. Like I said, it was like a half a second, and then I just turned my head away. It was rough.
So I guess after 4 years, you'd forgotten what it felt like, and you decided to do it again.
No. We've only done it once. I remember clearly what it felt like. I'm not going to do it again.
Oh, okay. I'm getting confused by if I'm talking to the person that was doing the waterboarding or who was waterboarded, but
you're talking to the person that was waterboarded. Sorry, we're both in the car
well,
together.
I'm gonna probably get somebody to waterboard me at some point because I don't believe either of you guys. I still think it's just fucking water.
Do it.
I'll do it, and I'll come back, and I'll talk about it on here. I'll let you guys know if it was that bad, because it's just water. How bad can it be?
Well, people drown in water, right? And this simulates drowning, and that's not a very enjoyable experience.
I don't get how people drown in water. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I love having a podcast because you can just say whatever you want.
It's hard concept.
That's what people do on these podcasts. You ever listen to Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
He just says stuff. And I'm like, oh, you can just go on the internet, you just say stuff?
That's the best thing.
It's amazing. Guys, is there anything you want to say to the people at the computer before you go?
If you have the opportunity, get waterboarded.
Okay,
I'm a huge fan of the podcast, Lyle.
Oh, thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
I mean, seriously, if you have a you can just say stuff and people go like, yeah. It's pretty wild. Joe Rogan will just be like, Joe Rogan will be like, I heard that every monkey in the Amazon rainforest has hepatitis C. And people are like, oh yeah, no, I heard that too.